All right, there's the other thing that is going on right now. It's starting to rev up.
It is.
The first few, we're talking 7-on-7 football, and the first couple of weeks, I will say, and I mentioned this on the show yesterday, I don't put a ton of stock into. Largely because of the first week was regional track, and then last week was
state
track.
Yeah. And you have some schools still guys in baseball too. That's to a lesser impact, but there's some guys that play baseball too, so that's going on as well. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and so I wouldn't, these early results, I wouldn't put a ton of stock into. But you're out there. You've now been to 2 state qualifying tournaments out there around the states, talking with coaches, getting a feel for what they've got going on. Obviously, these coaches cannot be involved in the coaching of it, but they like to go there to watch their kids play. I'm interested in when you talk with coaches, why are they there? What are they particularly interested in seeing? What is it about 7-on-7, besides the fact that it's football, makes them want to go there and get eyes on their team?
I think a lot of coaches like to go out there because of the freedom that the kids have, because the coaches aren't involved. They look for a lot of the intangible things, leadership ability, when things are going bad, who's the kids that are kind of rallying the troops, who are the kids that are getting down on themselves or getting down on their teammates. They look for situational things. You can try to simulate things in practice and those types of things, but in a game, 7-on-7 is not real football, but you can simulate game situations a lot better because, number one, you're playing against a different opponent than your teammates, and there's something on the line. Yeah. So, I know last week we had Lorena was playing Whitney, and Whitney saw some great things because they were down 20-6 and they rallied and took the lead. And then Lorena comes back with, in a 2-minute drill type thing and scores a touchdown with 1.5 minutes left to take the lead. So, those kind of simulating those kind of situations, seeing who can make plays when the chips are down, those types of things I think coaches are looking at. Different situational stuff. Even in something simple like maybe at the end of a half, simulating a Hail Mary scenario where a team's going to throw a bomb in the end zone to try to score a touchdown, being able to simulate where to line up and knock the ball down, or a 3rd and 15 defense where you're going to be a little softer and letting the guy catch the ball but not give it the first down. Those types of situations, that's invaluable experience because you're actually playing against a different opponent, and the kids are really out there giving a lot of effort. And there's anytime you play against somebody in a different colored jersey, you're gonna the stakes are a little higher. And you're going to, and you're out there, obviously. One of the things we talk about all the time is that it's a great time for us to talk with coaches because it's the summer. They're a little bit more relaxed. Oh, yeah. They're off the clock. They're putting up with us. A few more hijinks are in play. It's a little bit more relaxed, and we get the great interviews on camera, but then a lot of the insights we can get off camera and just say, hey, coach, tell me what you really think about, some of your district rivals and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. That's kind of the big allure for us. As far as on the field, though, when you're out there watching a 7-on-7 tournament, you're watching teams, we want to balance the idea of putting too much stock into a 7-on-7 result versus not enough stock. What are you looking for besides, obviously freak athletes are going to stand out, but what are you looking for when you go out there and watch 7-on-7? Individually, you're looking at, you want to see how quarterback, what kind of throws he can and can't make, receivers, which guys, what kind of receivers you have. Are guys just freak athletes and going up and making plays? How slick of a route runner are they? Are they separating? Those types of things. From a team standpoint, the first thing I look at offensively is what kind of offense are they running? Are they running a junk offense, or are they running an offense that you can run in the fall? Yeah. So to really put a pin on that, when you say junk offense, you mean just an offense designed exclusively to win 7-on-7 tournaments? Yeah. So you're running 3-yard slant routes where linebackers and defensive linemen would be. Yeah. You can't run that route in real football. In 7-on-7, you can run it because there's no lineman there. But in real football, you can't run on 3rd and 2. You can't run a 3-yard in and have a receiver standing there 3 yards away because, generally speaking, there's a defensive lineman who's going to mash you, or a linebacker who's going to destroy you. So I look for things like that. Teams are running, or where a quarterback rolls right and then throws the ball down the field 5 yards back into the middle of the field. Yeah, he can't run that in real football. Right. So I try to look for teams who are running real stuff that translates into Friday night. You know, those 15-yard out routes where the quarterback's making a throw from the pocket and throwing from one hash to the other. You know, if that guy can make that throw, I'm like, okay, that kid can spin it. You know, those types of things are what I'm looking for. Defense is a little bit tougher because they're at a disadvantage and they can't chuck the receivers inside of 5 yards. The game's designed for the offense, so it's a lot tougher to gauge the defense. But even last year, I know me and Max were at the state 7-on-7 last year. We saw Longview and how good they were in the secondary, and we were like, if they're shutting people down in 7-on-7, they're going to be great in real football, and they were. They turned out to have a great secondary, made a lot of plays, got a lot of turnovers, and it translated into real football. So I think it's just being able to kind of see the forest through the trees. But I will say in most years recently, I've done some analysis on this in the offseason. Teams that actually really do well at state 7-on-7, generally speaking, the ones that get to the quarterfinals, the semifinal round, generally speaking, in the fall, they generally have good years. I mean, you look at last year, Graham and Lake Travis won state 7-on-7. Well, I think they were a combined 29-2 or 29-3.
Lake Travis played for a title. Graham was in a semifinal.
Yeah, and even the teams they beat, Lake Travis beat Waxahachie in the title game. Waxahachie went 3 deep last year. I can't remember who Graham beat. I think Graham beat China Spring in the state championship game, and China Spring had a really good year as well. So the teams that go to state and have good years, generally speaking, you can pretty much assume they're probably going to be pretty good in the fall. Not always, but in recent years, that trend has – I don't think we'll ever see a team like Baytown Lee who won state 7-on-7 and then went 0-10 in the fall. I don't think we'll ever see that again. I think that was the early days of 7-on-7.
And finally, of course, while we're talking about 7-on-7, the biggest question everybody has on their mind is, are you going to be wearing your big dumb hat at 7-on-7 tournaments?
At the qualifiers, no.
For those who don't know, Matt Stepp has a big dumb hat.
I do. It's functional.
That's the entire story.
It's very functional. The backwards hat does not make an appearance at state 7-on-7 because I'm out in the sun for just way too long, and for 3 days straight too. The qualifiers are just one day I can get away with the ball cap. State 7-on-7, the big dumb hat does make an appearance. I'm looking forward to state 7-on-7. It's a lot of fun. There's a Division III this year, which will be fun. They've added for the small schools, so 2A and 3A Division II and 1A schools can play in Division III. That'll be exciting. I'm sure we'll have some, our coverage will be, we had great coverage last year, and I think our coverage will be even better this year.
Let's not oversell it.
Well, I think we'll be
there.
We'll be there, and I think our cover, 7-on-7 is kind of my thing, and there's other people that cover it for sure, but I really think, us as a group, I think Max has been on Team 7-on-7 for a while.
Yeah,
and
you're pulling me onto it. I'm going to go down there for a day.
We're working on
I'll be
you.
down there for the Thursday.
And you went to a couple of qualifying tournaments last year. You went to the LD Bell qualifier.
I did.
So we're working on it. Now we got to get Ishmael on board. We're working on Ish now. We got to get him. Yeah. Get him Team 7-on-7, and we'll be all right. It's
going to be fun. It's a fun summer. Matt Stepp knows that Texas high school football doesn't sleep. That's why you can follow him on Twitter at Matt_Steppapa817.